Assalamu alaikum. Shulman Rahim here. Message of the Covenant. Break our 7 seals. Give me a moment, brothers and sisters. A little technical issue again. Just give me a moment. Okay, well. Let it be. Oh, there you go. One second, brothers and sisters. One second. Okay. I do it. This way. Okay, problem solved. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters, problem solved. Okay. The Christian legacy. The Christian legacy. You know, they tell you, knowing by their works. So what's the Christian legacy for the last 500 years? See, we're taught that Christianity is only 500 years old. But most people think it's 2,000, but Catholicism and Christianity is not the same thing. The form that you call Christianity right now is Methodist, Baptist, all that's 500 years old. That's the Protestant movement. That movement started 500 years ago. The Protestant movement, Methodist, Baptist, whatever, right? That's the Protestant movement, Protestant, that's where the word comes, because they protest against the Catholic Church. That's what I mean Christianity is 500 years old. And so what's the legacy of that? But see, you need to know the history. I'm not going to go into details here, brothers and sisters, but it says Gog and Magog will deceive the whole world. But you understand, when does Gog and Magog? So they tell you that's the future. Say Jesus is going to come back. He's going to rule for 1,000 years. And then for some reason he's going to just disappear and get a kingdom over to Satan, and God is going to take and rule and deceive everybody. That's the story they're telling you, so-called millennium. That's bull, total. That's the deception is that chapter itself. That's the major part of deception, because that has already occurred. Because you would not be deceived if you understood that that has already occurred. That was the Dark Ages. That was Europeans and so-called Jews. They was thrown into the pit for 1,000 years. I mean, Europe. And it was locked down by his resurrected empire. Abraham's resurrected empire kept locked down for 1,000 years. And they broke out 500 years ago, exactly like it says. But they tell you that's in the future. Because if you know it's the past, you say, oh, wait a minute. Then you know who Gog and Magog is. It'd be two European world powers. There's only been two world powers that you know of in history. And both of them European. Britain and America. Gog and Magog. And Gog will come out of Magog, because Magog means the mother of Gog. And they will both come out of the east. And go and see the whole world they didn't know about during the Dark Ages. It's simple enough, brothers and sisters. But see, that's what I want to get into here. Part of what I want to get into is the mind war, because the mind war is about, for them, it's about deception. But either way, the mind war is about information. And war, right? War is about destroying resistance. The bottom line is simple. It's about destroying resistance. When the resistance is destroyed, the war is over. Okay. And so they've been at war with us as a nation for 1,500 years. Okay. But they haven't got rid of all the resistance. As long as there's any resistance standing, the war is not over. So we'll examine the Christian legacy, because they're known by their works. So what's the Christian legacy? Before I do that, let me explain a couple of things, brothers and sisters. This will be short today. Otherwise, I won't exist tomorrow, because my wife asked me to do something I haven't done it yet. Okay. See this right here? It says, you will not return to get thorough knowledge of stuff. So you need to understand how things work. So what you have here is you got two different kinds. You got the Bible and you got the Quran. Now the Bible, it tells you it's sealed. So if it's sealed, unless you broke the seals, that means you have no idea what you're talking about. That's why all these people are in trouble. These preachers, these priests, all of them, they're all liars. Right? That's simple right there. If they tell you, even Elijah Muhammad told you the book was under a veil. So if it's under a veil, if it's sealed, that means they don't know what they're talking about. That means they're deceiving people, because they tell you what they're talking about. That means they don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, they tell you. They you're supposed to depend on them and give them money and everything else. But by death, they don't know what they're talking about. Because it says the book is sealed. Daniel is sealed. Revelation is sealed. But they still talk about it. And they don't know what it means. It means they're lying. They're part of deception. You see? But you got the books there. Now, the way this works is, I'm going to give you the short version. The universe keeps changing. The seasons change, right? You got the weather seasons, right? And you got the Earth transition seasons, right? As the universe, transfers, as it expands and contracts, you go in different phases, different seasons. And we know it takes 24,000 years for a complete cycle. So that's, you got 4 seasons there, each 6,000 years. That's why they talk about 6,000 years. So it's come out of a 6,000 year cycle. Anyway, you have these seasons. Some people call them cycles. You got these, or let's call cycles. You have these cycles of reality and seasons that we know, summer, fall, winter, spring. Those are weather cycles, right? You also got like cycles in life, like when you being formed in the womb. That's a cycle. Then you're born. Then you know infant, and then then the next day teenager, and then those cycles of life. So you got different cycles. So, but what scriptures deal with, right, is the earthly cycles in respect to the universe. So look at it from the point of view of just winter weather cycles. So you have winter, spring, summer, and fall. But those different cycles, and they require different levels of understanding, different modes of action to deal with them. A winter cycle, you have to have a different mentality for the summer. See? So they send a book and say, okay, to define this cycle, right? And now thought is pressure. This environment we live in right now, it came from a mind. This is the reality we see right now came out of the mind of Gog and Magog. That's pressure, because thought is pressure. I'm not just saying it's fact. And this pressure is greater than any other pressure, so it's dominated Hinduism, Sunnism, everything, because it's greater pressure. Greater pressure. And it was truth. Well, how make mystery shed blood? Because it was, remember, the winter truth is different from the summer truth. You might like it, but some person, they won't like the winter. So God said, because that was the truth, that was the season for that. So that's the truth is, if it's in sync with the season. See, the idea of truth is, they got you so messed up. The idea of truth and everything else is totally messed up. It's mathematics. We think mathematics, you don't have those problems. So Adam was the truth. And Iblis, who said, no, I'm going to keep doing what you told, the old way, that, make my prayers every time. You said, well, he was considered wicked, unrighteous. Because he didn't understand the seasonal change, and because of seasonal change, Adam was the truth for that period of time. Even though it make mystery, but he'd be the truth for it. So therefore, he's given a book, right, to show him how to be successful during that period of time. See, because I said it's force. The whole reality is pressure, which is force spread out. You have to learn vectors. Vectors is the language of force. If you don't understand vectors, you don't understand anything. Because you understand the universe is based on force. Every act has opposite equal reaction, consequence. And vectors is language of force. So what happens is that you get a scripture. And where's the scripture? I said scripture's like a bomb. Well, the thing is scripture is like tells you how to manage your energy, right? Because you convert your energy to that form of pressure for that environment. Because this reality is different than the reality of 1,500 years ago. So this reality came out of the mind of Gog and Magog, and it's different than one 1,500 years ago. This is a new one. And it came out of the mind of Gog and Magog. And they was getting a sealed Bible. And remember, a sealed Bible. So they don't understand what's in it, right? So they have to go what's on the top. They still got it. They just want the depth of it, because it's sealed to them. So it's a book. It's a sealed version they're getting. So they're going to read the sealed aspect. It's still information. And it's designed, right? In other words, there's two sides to it. Like two sides of a coin. They only get one side. They can't see the other side. So this side say, okay, now this the way you manage your energy. Because everybody gets the same amount of energy. So if they manage their energy this particular way, they're going to create a high pressure system which will blow away all lower pressure systems. And the angel tells you that the Quran is just the moon of the sealed Bible. That's the sun of this period. That's the moon of it. So it reflects, the moon reflects, and the Quran reflects the same ideas that's in the sealed Bible. Women are inferior, that kind of stuff. Because this is the time of Adam. I don't want to go too deep into that. But what I'm trying to say is that they get that, and then someone has to take and ignite it, and then you have to fuel it. See, ignite a fire, but if you ignite it, it's no good if you don't have no fuel, or the fire just burn out. So they have to get a book that's ignite it, accept it, right? And then have to, where do you get the fuel from? Well, it's them. The Prophet Muhammad he fueled the Quran. He was the fuel of the Quran. He was intimately connected with because it was his fuel, his energy that fueled it. That's what I'm saying. One person, all you need, high pressure overcomes low pressure. I don't care how much low pressure is. An ounce of high pressure will overcome tons and tons and tons of low pressure. It's just the way it is. It's infinite. High pressure overcomes low pressure, no matter how much low pressure there is. So when you see one person, and then you tell them, okay, here is the book. Your scripture, you follow the scripture here, and you apply you fuel it, and you're going to create a high pressure zone where it's going to blow away everything else, or everything that's there now. See? But someone has to fuel it. So Prophet Muhammad, he fueled it. Like Isa ibn Miriam, what you call Jesus, Moses, same thing. They had to fuel it. So in other words, the energy they get, everybody gets the same amount of energy, but they had to manage that away in that book. And then they create a high pressure situation, and it expands, eventually overtakes what the pressure system that just like the Quran took out the pressure system that existed before was the so-called Roman Empire. Took it out. Couldn't withstand the Islamic Empire. And then MAGOG came on scene 5 years ago and blew away the Islamic Empire. They took that book because they didn't have access to that book before. See, in Catholicism, only people had access to that book was the priests, the kings, the monks. Those say normal people didn't have access to it. The Protestant movement, I think it was Gutenberg Press, they started printing the books and they gave it, and then those people started reading the book and they started following what they thought was in it. Remember, it's a sealed book. So once they had the book, all of a sudden now, you're fueling based on what they get from that book, which it says you had a lesser light and a greater light. The greater light was first, according to Genesis, and lesser light was 500 years later. Everyone was 1,000 years and was broken in two parts, day and night. If you look at it and you do the math, exactly when the angel was revealed, which what Arabs call the angel is called a gospel, and then 5 years later, right, the Quran. And the Quran blew away. But Prophet Muhammad had to fuel it. He had to live the life, follow what's in there, fuel it. So it depended on him. The Quran wasn't going to do anything by itself. He had to fuel it. Okay? So all these sects came about because after he left, right, they took their own interpretations and then they fueled their interpretations. They didn't fuel his interpretation. So you got all these different sects over there. That's another story. But it has to be fueled. And the energy you have, you take and manage that away. And same thing with the angel. It says nobody could ignite that book. Because it takes energy to ignite it. So it had to be something about you that allows you to, it's something about you personally that allows you to ignite it. Because remember, that's still energy management itself. That had two come together. It's like it's a magnet. They draw you together because you're on that same wavelength already. That's how you able to get the book. You come together. then you ignite it, and then, but you got to put your, and the more energy you put in, right, 100%, routes start changing. And the thing is that, like towards the quality, I'm not going. I don't want to go into a lot of detail here, brothers and sisters. But like I said, you can't see the wind, but you can see the effect of the wind. So 1990, that's when the engine was ignited. And then take the message of the covenant and start fueling it. See, Elijah was given the supreme wisdom by Master Muhammad. He ignited. He came and said, I know who you are. Have you heard the story? Then he lived the life. Right? He applied his energy, focused energy on that. And he started changing things. He didn't have enough. That wasn't enough. It wouldn't create. It wasn't high enough. It wasn't able to overcome this system. Wasn't enough. That's why I say to prepare the way. Because remember, you got to keep fueling it. You take them out and stop. But once you stop fueling the pressure, then it settles back down again. You got to keep fueling it. You got to keep taking energy and putting into it. Keep it going. It's this explosion. So you keep that explosion getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But see, Elijah took it to a certain point, and then they'd take him out. They took him out of there. So when he took it out, right, he wasn't fueling anymore. So then it collapses. You see the math there, brothers and sisters? It collapses because he wasn't fueling anymore. He wasn't putting his energy in anymore. It's not going to stay there by itself. It's got to be fueled. Then along comes Mr. Farrakhan. See, he's got a whole different idea. He's not fueling those books. He had the ability to do it anyway. Because remember, those books is the mind that you have to have. It tells you how to manage your mind, how to manage your energy. How to manage, that's the mind. That's ignited. You get the mind, tell you how to manage. That scripture telling you it's your mind. Mind is like software. It feeds information, hardware, your brain. So that scripture is the mind. So he gave him that mind, and then mind tells how to manage his energy. And Elijah Muhammad did it. And he caused things to change. He had an impact on the world. Now, if he had stayed, but he wasn't able to stay, plus it was issues too, his age and everything else. He was just prepared away. Okay. Remember, the ignited, he has to have, his mind has to be on that same wavelength. That's what Master Muhammad teaching gives him out on that wavelength. That frequency. And teaching for 3.5 years. You're up there. And then now you ignite it. Now fuel it. That's why you're teaching to get them to be able to ignite it. Ignite the lesson, understand what they mean, everything. Now fuel it. And he walked in and fueled it. So what happens? When he's not there anymore, it's not fueled, then the pressure collapses because he's not fueling anymore. Unless someone else steps in. But the point is, because Master Ram had to give him that new mind. Original mind. But Farrakhan doesn't have an original mind. He doesn't have, he can't do it. He only sees things from a grafted way. So he sees all this as from a grafting point of view. So that's what he's fueling. That's what he's fueling. And that's on the same level as this reality is here. That's why he don't want to change it. We're going to stay here. We ain't going anywhere. Because on the same level. He fueled it. It's just to keep from being crushed on this level. Because if he can fuel it to the level, remember, he got so much pressure. If you feel it greater, then you blow away this. If it's less, you be crushed. But if it's equal, then you're okay. You walk in it. But it's equal. But you're not blowing away. And that's what he's teaching. Because, hey, stay here. And those with him, if they listen to that stuff, right, they can make it here. Oh, Farrakhan, he helped me. I was being crushed. You see, I don't know if I try to, because some people get all messed up. He try to explain like this, but I tell you how it is, the mathematical way. Because it sounds like, hey, I'm helping him out. I'm just telling you how it is. I get actual facts, so you can make the right decision. So the information he's giving them is how to survive on this level. Because the same pressure he's fueling, the same pressure the devil's fueling. So that's why he say things like you say. Devils ain't devils anymore. We gotta stay here, right? See? We intimate with devil. You see what I'm saying? Because that's on the level his mind is. He can't do any better. That's what he's son of perdition. And it says they're deceiving, he's deceiving, because that's the quality of it. Since they're deceivers, he's deceivers too. That's the quality of it. Hope let me move on, Brown says that. I don't mean to get too deep, but let me move on. Oh yeah, definitely. Wow. I'm not gonna get this in, brothers and sisters. Time go by so fast. I can't believe that went that fast. So what happens is that in 1990, right? It said the Lamb would ignite the angel, same wavelength, because life he was living, everything else, put him at wavelength. So he was the only one able to do it, and then start fueling it. And so now, since 1990, the world's changed dramatically. And the thing is, like I said, you may see the wind, but you see the effects of it. So right now, you see, this reality is getting more and more troubled ever since 1990. And then more and more trouble, more and more trouble. You see what I'm saying? Because it's changing it. The pressure's greater, right? And it keep fueling it. And the only way they can stop it is they have to stop what's fueling it. But they can't do that because high pressure, they low pressure. There's nothing they can do to stop, except if they can trick them into lowering this pressure. And if they trick them to lower this pressure, lowering this, they can crush them real quick, and that's the end of it. Okay? So the book and the person, they like husband and wife. See, they're on the same wavelength, but one ignited, and then you got to fuel it. Your life, what you're doing. You can take all your energy, like I said, 100%, and put it into that. And then you create a high pressure zone, which starts throwing away the low pressure zone. Let me show you. I'm going to have to do it in two parts, brothers and sisters. Okay. See, like this, see? Because that's what the engine's doing. He's fueling it, and then you got the pressure waves going out. And the higher pressure waves than the pressure waves that, because they're putting pressure waves out all the time too. You hear the news media, that's pressure waves. The news media, the education, all that, that's pressure, that's thought waves. They call it thought waves, right? Brain waves? It's pressure waves. And this is greater than that. But you keep fueling it, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Keep fueling it. But if I stop fueling it, then it collapses. See? I've never explained to you that way, but a lot of things I didn't. I keep telling me I stop assuming. You got to fuel it. It's not going to just sit there by itself. If I go away, it stops. If I stop doing it, it stops. I'm not going to do that. And the only way they can't make me do it, they can deceive me into. I'm shutting myself down, and then once I do, they would. High pressure. The high pressure got lower than theirs. Crush me. That's the end of it. Angel and the lamb are one and the same. Okay? It tells them how to manage your energy so you have a high pressure zone. And when you see it, then you also see things changing around you. The pressure, reality is starting to. That's why they're in trouble right now, economic in every form. It's not. It don't happen by itself. Somebody in trouble. They're in trouble just because of mystery God. In trouble because there's a force putting them in trouble. Every action has an opposite reaction. So if they're reacting, you got to say it must be a force that's causing their action. So if everything is declining, the economy and everything is in trouble, and wars and all that kind of stuff, that means there must be a force that's causing that. I don't know if I get that through to you. So if America's in trouble and they got all these problems, that's why they vote Trump, to get them out of trouble, to make America great again. He said we're in trouble. If they was doing great, and their system was greater, then they'd be doing great. They're comfortable, economy was great, good. Everybody's at peace, right, and wealth and if theirs was greater. But the fact is, they're getting worse every day, and the world's getting more troubled every day. That means there's got to be a force that's doing that. That means new reality is coming in and crushing this reality. So the question, where's that reality coming from? Where is it? Who is it? It's not just global warming. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. I'm have to close. oh, previous. Okay, good. I didn't realize. I tell you, brothers and sisters. I didn't realize. And so when you read the story, I'm not going to Mount. It tells you. See, these things are clear, right? Well, this past reality was clear than the purpose thought that was clear. It doesn't matter. Look, just look at it like high pressure overcomes low pressure. Whether it's clear, dirty, or whatever, if it's higher pressure, will overcome lower pressure. Dirty water, high pressure air. Well, I shouldn't say high pressure. Well, I said it shouldn't. Well, that's not totally correct, right? I mean, you can put water under pressure, right? Okay, put it that way. It could be dirty water. If it's high pressure, it's going to overcome clean water that's low pressure. This is the way it is. So maybe they make myths shed blood. But during this time, this season, and because of their nature, they had higher pressure. So therefore, it would come to blow away. Like that's why I said, why they let the wicked overcome the righteous? I think Abraham asked that. Some prophet asked that. So I think it was some prophet asked that in the Bible. Okay? So they couldn't understand. Well, how come the wicked? Because they don't understand how the universe works. It's high pressure, low pressure. Understand that. And then look at the quality. And look at the season. And then you start seeing stuff make sense. So when the season was in, that means that it was a negative season. And so negative people would rule in negative season. Move on, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm part 2 tomorrow. I'm going to have to go into this more details. I had something to do today and I haven't finished it. Right? But let me give a brief. See, God can make out here 5 years. And their pressure was higher than everybody's. They overcame all the nations. The world empires overcame Hinduism, Buddhism, Sunnism, all of it. Even the Catholic Church, all of it. Because higher pressure. But now, the engine's on the scene, seal's broken, right? Messenger of the covenant, he broke those seals, ignited, and now he's fueling it. Because it's telling him how to fuel his energy, how to manage his energy, rather. How to manage your energy. So he's fueling based on the guidelines in the book. You understand? And he did that. Create high pressure zone, but you got to keep fueling it. And the zone gets bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And no one can stand against it. So it means it's pushing, it's like you're in an elevator and it's crowded and you push a little bit, right? Everybody's getting tense, you push a little more, right? Push more, everybody after a while, man, you're in a fight. Right? Because everybody's against the wall, and you're in a fight. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's happening now. because it's going to be a war. That's why it's. Right? You see, it's getting hotter. They know it's going to blow up in a minute. You understand, brothers and sisters? But the short version is, it said, knowing by the works. Now, what's the works of Christianity? See, they can't answer that question. Oh, Christianity good for the world. How was it good for the world? Slave. What has this world been like the last 5 years? Slavery, murder, genocide, theft. That's been characterized whole reality for the last 5 years. Okay? Well, see how evil and wicked they are? Yeah. They are now. When the judgment comes, but during that time, they weren't wicked. They were unrighteous. Because Adam was a righteous, as long as he didn't touch that tree, like I said, what he said, do not touch that tree, you become unjust. That means he wasn't unjust till he touched that tree. So his mission to shed blood was just for his period. But then it said judgment will take place after 400 years. So now that his time is over. So if those actions now out of sync, because during his time, the actions of the jinn, which are the Sunni Arabs, was sinful, out of sync. They was kind of getting their ass whooped. They had not one victory during that time. But they was the righteous. No, see, your thinking is all wrong. And that's what Suleiman's here to straighten out, give you your mind. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. I had a lot more to say, but I'll leave you with that. That's a lot right there to think about. You gotta fuel it. And that's why I said the only thing they can do is trick me into lowering my pressure by not distracting. Remember, it takes energy. So I give 100% energy into this. If I start giving 50%, that means they're going to lower my pressure. Is that enough for their pressure to become overtake mine? Because once it does, they eliminate me because they're high pressure, they're low pressure. That means they crush me, eat me, and nothing I can do about it. So how would they do that? They send people over for all kinds of ways to distract me. See? That's what it is. So whether they're doing intentionally or unintentionally, it doesn't matter. The effect is the same. Right? So at this point, case closed on that. Nope. We'll not accept any more distraction on that level or just get rid of it. Because that's the purpose of it. Because in the end, it says, I talked about this, it says, Suleiman will be betrayed. Son of man will be betrayed. Okay? And put to death. Okay? What does that mean? I know what it means. It's not going to work. But to say it was raised to life. Right? But the thing is that anybody's distraction is the enemy. I don't care what they say, they're the enemy. Because they're taking distracting energy they're against the angel. Because the angel is bringing a new, like, a woman pregnant, right? And she eats something that's wrong, it's going to mess the baby up. And the baby come out all messed up. That's not going to happen here. Anybody that's, if you're not fueling this, you're enemy to it. If you're not fire, you're fuel for the fire. So if you come in distracting, that means you telling me, don't cause me not to focus on energy. And so therefore you're weakening the vibrations, the angel message. You're lowering the pressure. Anytime you lower the pressure, because this pressure is changes reality, but it's also helping my people. Because it's getting protection from them. Because this reality is getting weaker, so it has to just use more energy to try to stop this. So I don't have so much energy to mess with them that much anymore. Because now they're doing everything they can to stop. Like in an elevator, everybody's worried about what happened, everything else. You stop pushing, they ain't worried about the only thing worried about is you pushing, man. Man, you taking all the room, you pushing. See, they focus on that. So if you a distraction and you out here talking about you over here come in my house and with all your BS and you got attitude, you got to go. Because you're doing a purpose or unpurpose, it doesn't matter. The effect is still the same. I got to focus all my energy just to make this happen. I have to fuel it with the energy I get. Now I haven't really explained that to you that deeply, but I'm telling you right now. It has to be fueled by somewhere. That's why you pick one person, and that person has to live the life of it, to fuel it. If they don't fuel it, you hear about some prophets get killed or whatever, because they got tricked into lowering their pressure. They try to trick Prophet Muhammad Lawrence pressure. He said they try to, why don't you be more pliant? It says in the Quran. They don't say lower pressure, but you understand what they're saying. They told him, why don't you ease up? See? So they come in, oh, this, you want to change things, oh, I don't like you say this, and Elijah said all that kind of stuff. Get the hell out of here. Because I'm throwing your ass out, and I'm letting you back in. I don't have time for that. It's a war. Resistance. That's what war is about, overcoming resistance. And you part of the resistance, so you're the enemy. Assalamu alaikum.